Welcome to Behind the Sign Podcast. It's your girl Shawnte, the Realtor, and
Courtney here to give you all the deets on what goes on behind the sign.
Yes. And we are so excited to be on episode number 5.
We made it, guys. 5 episodes.
Five. And hey, you get 5 on it for hanging out with us.
That's right.
5 times. And if you
times.
haven't, you better go back and watch. Okay? Because I got 5 on it.
That's right.
So on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the things to consider before you put your home on the market. Before you list your home, there are many things to consider.
Many things.
And, we're just going to go ahead and get right on into it.
I'll give you all a little bit on just a few things. Not too much, but just enough to get you guys going with in your household.
Yes. So the first thing we want to talk about when it comes down and you make a decision to put your house on the market, the number one thing everyone wants to talk about, I bet you can guess. Price. What is the price? What should I list for? And I want to let you know that is a very important question. So when we go down this road and talk about what your home should and the range that it should sell for, we're not coming out of the sky. We're not saying any, miny, mo.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go with this price. It's just not like, I think it's not. We're actually going to run some comps, the comparable market analysis in your neighborhood, not the neighborhood across the street, your neighborhood, and know exactly what is actually selling in your neighborhood. And guess what? We don't make up the price. No one makes up the price. Guess who makes up the price? Who dictates the price? The buyer. The buyer is the one, because they are the ones that's willing. They need to be willing to pay a certain price for your home. So you just have to keep that in mind. Everyone, I get it, loves their home. I love a lot of homes too. But the buyer is the one who has to be willing to get financing and take a loan out to get your actual home, or pay cash for it, however they decide to purchase the home. But buying a home and the pricing matters.
Yes, absolutely. It definitely matters. And what we want you guys to understand is, as Shawnte was stating, we run comps and all we do is interpret the market. The market is changing all the time, just like the interest rates are changing all the time. So we don't really dictate what a house can sell for or what it should sell for. We're looking at those comps, and then we're coming into your home. We look at a lot of key factors. When you bring us into your home, we're the experts that are coming in there to help you make the best decision possible. So things like location, condition of the house, what you have done, what you haven't done to the home, all of those things matter. And it doesn't necessarily just matter to you, but it matters to the buyer. And when a buyer comes into your home, when they're looking at other homes, maybe in your neighborhood or in other areas, they're comparing what they're getting for the price based on what they're seeing. So all of those things are key factors. Another big thing about price that a lot of sellers may not necessarily realize coming out the gate is we want to make sure that we get you priced right from the start. Even though the market may be going crazy at times, we still want to make sure that we're priced right from the start, because one, we don't want you to have a stale listing. We want to make sure that people are at least coming out to see your property, that you're getting the traffic that you want to get. And also, when we do get that perfect buyer that comes in, we want to make sure that we're priced right, because we're not the only ones on the team here that's going to dictate how the house gets sold. We have an appraiser that comes in and dictates the actual value of the property. So if we're priced $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 over list price, and that appraiser comes in and gives you that value, we don't want to give up any more money than we possibly need to give up. So pricing it right from the start is going to save a lot of emotions and a lot of heartache before we close.
Hello. And we want to save some heartache. And another thing to consider when pricing, which Courtney mentioned about pricing it right at the beginning, if you price too high at the beginning, you're going to end up going down. The longer the house stays on the market, the more people are going to try to go lower and lower. Many times, if they see a house on the market for an extended amount of time, they're always going to try to shoot for the low anyway.
They think it's a deal. Like, oh, this house been on the market for X amount of time. Like, let me go ahead and shoot another 10,000 under. They already been sitting. They ready to get rid of it.
That is exactly what they think. I have buyers right now, and hey, they're like, let's go in 20 under. Let's go in 30 under. Let's go in 40 under. And they are serious. I want you to know they're not joking. They're like, Shawnte, write it. Right. So with that being said, you want to just have the advantage. You know, I know everyone wish they were in 2020 land again and wish we're here, but we're not. And you want to keep that in mind when it comes to the pricing strategy is if you price it at a price point that is attractive to many, many buyers, then you can put yourself in position to be in a multiple offer situation that people will actually pay what you're actually asking for. And that's always the goal. You know, we want you to win, but there are ways to do that, you know, but if you price it too high and is willing to go down later at some point, and then maybe 30 or 90 days later, you decide, okay, well, let's go back to this offer. Well, you can go back to that offer, but now they're like, well, I don't want that price anymore. Now this is my new price. And that's where it gets a little sticky and tricky.
Absolutely, for sure. And one of the things that I want to say about this market, and I'm pretty sure Shawnte has a story or two to tell as well. This market that we've been in for 2025 up until the present time is like no other market. It is very dicey. It's unexpected. Yeah. There's really no way to predict a lot of things. And one of the things that I'll share is 2025 into 2026. I've been in real estate 7 years this month, and I've had more listings in this past year than I've had in the 7 years that I've been in real estate. Yeah. And I know for sure, I'm a strategist, just like Shawnte's a strategist. I know that I price my listings to sell. But hey, again, this market is like no other. So although we price it right, sometimes things just don't happen the way we need it to. So we're not going to sell you this pipe dream that, hey, if you price it right, your home's going to fly off the shelf, because it's not the case. But what we do want you guys to do is to trust us, to be the expert, to price it where we know you're going to be in the best position possible to get the home sold. So I've had some listings to sit way longer than I've ever had in any market, but I do know that I had my client's best interest at heart, and I know that I strategized from the beginning. And so, yeah, that's what it is.
And to her point, I mean, she's right. This is my 6th year in real estate, and same thing. I've had the most listings within this last year, as well. And watching how the market changes very, very rapidly. Even right now, the prediction for 2026 is just as more. And also keep in mind, who else are you competing with? That's really, really big. Builders. New construction is out there as well. Many of them are paying for rate buy downs or giving incentives that a seller can't necessarily compete with all the time.
And that's the booming market. New construction is the booming market. We're not saying resale is not selling, but new construction has been the booming market for the past 2 years.
But even with them, they've had to take some cuts as well.
Absolutely.
So the reality is, just be ready, have the right mindset when it comes to the pricing strategy, being flexible, because when opportunity comes your way with an offer, let's strategize, negotiate it to get it to meet in the middle. That's something that you will feel good about, the buyer will feel good about, and you will actually be able to sell. Because let's just keep it real. Real estate is still happening. It's still happening now. People are still buying and selling. It looks different, but that's just where we are. So, keep that in mind when it comes to pricing, but we just want you to think about that and be a little more flexible when it comes to pricing.
Absolutely. Completely agree. And we always say this all the time. At the end of the day, whether it's a buyer, seller, tenant, landlord, we want what? A win-win on both sides.
Win-win.
So we're going to make sure that you're going to net the most profit from your property with the right strategy.
Definitely. And one other thing to talk about when it comes outside of pricing is the condition of the home.
Condition. What does your house look like on the inside and outside, guys?
Hello. You know,
presentation is everything.
It is. And I know many times people want to sell as is, which you can do. But as is as is. If your roof is 20 years old, that might be an issue.
Expect to come off a little money out of pocket,
Yeah, because the insurance, the buyer, when they need to get their insurance and they see the age of the roof and then their insurance a little more expensive because of that, all of those things will come into play.
A lot of factors to consider.
Yes.
Yeah.
So always just think about what the condition of the home kind of goes back into the pricing situation to let you know how well you can price it or not. And also to remember, yes, having a pool is great and all the upkeeps and so forth of that is great. But just know that if you put $100,000 in a pool, you don't necessarily going to get that $100,000 back into the sale of the home.
I always say putting a pool in is really just a personal decision because you may have a buyer that likes the neighborhood, likes the house, condition of the house is great. They don't necessarily care about a pool, but hey, this is a plus. So you may not get that $100,000 back that you paid for the pool. So always keep that in mind. Things like a pool, other things we can talk about on another episode, but that was specifically for your pleasure. So yeah. But condition, still talking about condition, one of the biggest things that I like to do when I'm going on listing appointments is look at the simple general upkeep of the house, right? Things like making sure that the walls look nice and clean. You may need to do a little touch-up paint. If there's carpet in the home, let's make sure we get the carpet shampooed and clean, or the tile or whatever, make sure that we can get different grout areas clean. Just different things that people may not think that make a big difference, but they do, because the reality is, it's like, yeah, sure, we go in and we have our photographers come in and take professional photos and things can be photoshopped and this and that. But the reality is that when buyers walk through your house, they're going to be nitpicking and saying, well, hey, I do like it, but ooh, I don't like this paint color, or ooh, I don't like the flooring. The carpet is, this, that, and the third. So condition it also boils down to like those little things that you can take care of with a little TLC. And as experts, we're going to come in your house and say, well, hey, I don't think you should spend a whole lot of money on this unless this is what you want. But I think these are the things that are going to attract a buyer, even things like curb appeal outside. People don't realize, hey, just having a nice clean yard makes a huge difference. And that's a part of condition of the home.
Agreed. And let's just keep it even more simple than that. A clean home.
A clean home.
I know you're like, what? A clean home.
An organized home. A home that's not cluttered.
It makes the world of difference. And I mean, we're realtors. We go in and out a lot of homes. And you will be surprised how many homes I have shown that are not clean. Mm-hmm. There are bugs everywhere. There are webs. There's just dirt. And buyers can't even see past it. Right. I know it's a nice home, but they cannot see past a house that's not clean.
Yeah.
So I've helped clients pick a home that was more dated, but it was so clean that they felt like it was home versus a home they thought they were going to love. They didn't choose it because it wasn't clean.
Presentation.
That's it. So let's just keep it simple. We're not saying we don't like for you to spend a whole lot of money because you want to sell the house to make money.
Absolutely.
So we don't want you to go out and break the bank to spend all the money to get this house tip top. Just do it as you go, but keep the house clean, have it in the best condition that you possibly can to get the house sold, and we'll be good.
Absolutely. I completely 100% agree. Presentation is everything. And like she said, going back to like decluttering and organizing, one of the things that I like to tell my sellers is, hey, you're moving. Let's go ahead and start minimizing on things that you just don't need, right? So we're not going to go too much into detail with that, but things that you don't need, things that you can move into a closet, start putting in storage bins, things like that. When you get your house ready to list and buyers are coming in, you want to make sure that those buyers can go in and visualize themselves in your home. And although you have your personal effects and things like that, that made your house the home that it is, we want a buyer to come in and be able to visualize themselves in the home. So a clean home, a home that's not decluttered, makes all the difference in the world.
Totally.
Yeah.
Agreed. And I would say the final thing that we will talk about is timing.
Yeah.
When?
Timing.
When should you do it? When is a good time? All that stuff, right? Couple of things, to consider. Like right now, we're about to get into the spring summer market. And I will say that is a popular time because most people, especially when they have kids that are in school, many people like to move throughout the summer months.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the most popular time that people move. And you want to consider that. You want to make sure you're doing your pre-work prior to the time you say you want to put the house on the market, because the house actually needs to be ready. If someone is ready to pull the plug, buy a house in June or no later than August, are you ready? Right. Is your house ready? So you can't automatically get ready just like that unless you've been prepping your house to do that. So the timing of everything matters. Even just outside of actually putting your house on the market, you need to get your house ready to be put on the market. And that comes with preparation and planning out and executing certain timing to launch.
Correct. Preparation is key. And again, going back to bringing your trusted realtors in to kind of help you prepare and discuss timing, discuss your time frame. So if you know, hey, I want to have my next house by this time, or if you're projecting and saying, well, hey, I want to have my home sold before the end of the year, knowing the correct time to bring that realtor in to discuss that. We can come in, look at the stats, figure out total number of days on market. And again, our job is to interpret. So we're going to do our very best to make sure that you're in the right timing and you prepare enough to make sure that your home can be sold when you want it to be sold. So preparation is key.
Preparation is key.
Yeah, absolutely. So did we cover enough for people to kind of get a gist of?
I think we did. I think
when is the right time to sell?
When is the right time? So, listen, there are always opportunity. People are always buying and selling all the time, believe it or not. And yes, spring summer market might be the time where a lot of people are moving. I always do a lot of deals at the end of the year. I've literally closed almost on my birthday, literally like 3 years in a row, so, and that's in October. So, our birthday, I should say, because we're a day apart. Remember, them labors in the house. So it's popular time. People like to get excited for Q4. Right. and that's a popular time because people like to focus on what they want to accomplish in the year. Purchasing a home is still a goal, an American dream, and things that people want to accomplish.
It's a big deal.
Right.
It's a big deal.
So doing that before the year ends, we always have time, and that's what we're here to do. So we're glad that you took out the time to hang out with us again on Behind the Sign podcast. I hope that you have been taking in the things that we have been sharing with you. Please remember to share with other people and share this video. Click like and subscribe as well. Super important. And we just love spending time with you guys.
Absolutely. We love sharing the knowledge, sharing the information. We're both very passionate about what we do. And although you get a little snippet of these different segments and different topics that we talk about, at the end of the day, once we come in, once we have our consultations, there's so much more that goes into detail. But we hope that these little small tidbits gives you a broader version of what to expect with each topic. So
definitely
join us next time on